FC Naples 3, Red Force nil. FC Naples survives and advance in the U.S. Open Cup. Paul, names in the hat for the next round. You ready for round 2 of the Open Cup?
Yeah, awesome to take quick work. Game never being in doubt. Team looked good. I think it's all positives, other than they didn't hit my 5-0 scoreline.
Yeah, no 5-0 scoreline, unfortunately. 3-0, you'll take it all day long. Seemed like we got out of there with everyone healthy, at least from what I could tell. Got some of the other guys some minutes, I think, proving what they could do. We saw Hudson Gay get on the score sheet in his first professional start. Came off the bench against Corpus Christi, local product. Great to see him score a goal. Great goal, too. And then our boy Taylor Gray getting on the score sheet as well. Late on, he decided to join the party and got his first goal as a FC Naples player.
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta take the lid off, and this was a great opportunity for those two guys to get on the score sheet professionally, and or at least with FC Naples. Uh, and I think it's confirmed Matt Poland listens to the show because he raised me. I said you can't waste a sub on a goalkeeper. He raised one up on me and said, "You trust me, right?" And used the sub on a goalkeeper. So Delgado got some playing time. Backup keeper got some playing time. Not that either of them was tested too terribly difficult. Not too many hard questions coming their way. So yeah, I think for a Wednesday night outing after a really tough draw, the effort, the energy level, it seemed like a great response from the club.
Yeah. I think the first, maybe 3 minutes, call it. That was the best they kind of looked. They had a corner. I think they won a free kick right at the start, had a corner, and it
Mhm.
was like, okay, maybe these guys can put something together. And that might have been the best opportunities they had of the entire match. It was a men's league team. The Open Cup is great because you get these cool stories. We saw yesterday, Vermont Green USL2 team. They've had, I think, 3 training sessions. They took down Portland Hearts of Pine in our league, which is a really cool story there. Lots of passionate fans up in Vermont. From the get go, I didn't ever like this game. Never really looked in doubt, and we really showed who the professional side was.
Mhm.
I was surprised that it was only 3. We were the better team all day long, all night long. Just kind of played them off the pitch. They never really seemed up for it. Kind of running circles around. I don't know what you thought or what it looked like from TV, but that's what
Yeah,
it looked like, at least in the ground.
the YouTube viewing experience significantly worse than the ESPN Plus viewing experience. But as you mentioned, the U.S. Open Cup really cool. At a family, not a family friend, but a friend who club was like one game away from making it to the Open Cup a few years back. He talked about how cool of an opportunity it is for you to be on a glorified men's league team that competes and tries to get an opportunity to play against some of these professional teams that we see. But it did very much feel like it was a men's league pickup game at the YMCA where it's a bunch of older dudes past their prime versus young guys. And early on, you're like, can the old guys, be a little bit more physical, a little smarter? But the athleticism kind of showed. Um, yeah, like you said, it never really felt in doubt, you know. And once that first goal went in, especially the way that goal went in, you're kind of like, well, if that's gonna fall, they're not gonna beat us. Like that was the type of goal I would have expected the other side for them to get on the board with, like just like a prayer, a crazy prayer of a shot, and it just is bigger, higher than the keeper. So yeah, I think the biggest thing that we wanted to see was, a good response, hard effort, and everybody walking away healthy. And the cherry on top is we got 2 guys on the score sheet. Um, Hopefully they can build that momentum going into the weekend.
Yeah, for sure. To kind of mention the game too, I kind of figured that's how it was going to be too. I think, 5 minutes in, one of their guys fouled Farine, and it was just a clear cut, like professional foul. He got beat. He comes through the back of him and just knocks him over. Clear foul. And then he does the classic men's league, like, oh, I didn't touch him. I didn't touch him. He went down easy, like going after the referee. And it's like, dude, everyone in the whole stadium knows that was a foul. Like, it's just easy. Like, it was a smart foul. I'll grant you that, but come on. Um, yeah, it was gonna be a long night once I saw that. We got to talk about that Torres goal though. First goal, just great, great strike. I think too. We won the throw in on the wing. Played it pretty quickly. O'Connor found Torres. Torres just said, "Oh, I guess I'll shoot," and just buried it. Great goal. We were joking in the stands. He's gonna go to Barcelona for 100 million euros here in the summer because they need more help after destroying Newcastle today. But yeah, great goal by Torres to get the score sheet, get on the score sheet first, and kind of get the momentum going more in our favor.
Sounds like a guy maybe Spurs might want to look at the transfer window. That would do wonders for the club if we could get a couple $1 million transfer fee for him. Um, but yeah, I it's what we wanted to see. And I'm not gonna jump over the moon and be like, oh man, this was such an outstanding game in kind of the long term ripple. But I do think that it's exactly what this club needed. We've talked about it all last year. We're going to talk about it a lot this year. It's going to be a grind, and when you can show up and kind of put an 80% effort in and knowing you're going to get the win, work on a few things that you can't try, either on the training ground or in league play, to use that basically as a glorified scrimmage this early in the year, I think was what the club needed.
Yeah, yeah, and getting those. I know we said on the show yesterday we wanted to see some squad rotation, and we did get a little bit of that. We got Hudson Gay starting. We got finally got to see Juan Azario. Oso, as he's better known. He got the start in midfield. I thought he looked good. Ian Cerro I thought looked great on the wing as well. Whole back line kind of held together, and it was nice to see them get more minutes under their belt together as a unit. We saw Glasser and Cisneros getting forward, and then once they came off, I think Hudson Gay went and played left back for a little bit, switching kind of between left and right back, and still being able to get forward. So it was cool to see him kind of playing all over, trying guys in different spots. O'Connor at one point looked to be playing a 9 up top with Taylor Gray. It was kind of all over the place, getting to experiment a little bit, like you said. So definitely, I think good for this team, good for the lads, and good to get into the next round. Can't ask for much more than a 3-0 win, and you move on, everyone healthy.
Well, you can't ask for more, and I
Well, yeah,
did.
you can.
You
We
can't. You
did.
could ask for a 5-0. I think if they would have won 5-0, you couldn't have asked for much more than that. So, yeah, I think we hit the nail on the head there. It was a good win, and it keeps us alive in the U.S. Open Cup, which I think we're both very excited about. As I think all the fans should also be. If you're going to pick a in-season tournament to follow, I think it's the U.S. Open Cup over Prinks Tires. At least until Prinks Tires sponsors us. So
Yes. Yes. Um, we don't want to spend too much time on this match because it was just I mean, yeah, we take the points. I guess no points. We survive in advance, move on to the next round, and I believe the draw is this Friday. To be confirmed though, so we'll see who we draw in the next round. But yeah, exciting, and maybe we'll get another championship side and chance to beat them and move on to the third round. And just, it's that time of year, March, right? Survive in advance.
same principles.
Exactly. Do you have a man of the match you like from this match against Red Force?
I think Gay's effort through and through, finding a good goal, our second such goal this season. So maybe that's going to be a theme. And just the energy he brought. He's been a guy that's come off the bench the last couple games, so to see him have the start and play really well, he's the type of guy after watching that, you're like, this guy could be in our starting 11 match in, match out. So I'll give him the nod.
Yeah, you hope to see. I believe he was signed to a 25-day like trial contract, so you hope to see him get signed on full time, especially with the two shifts we've seen from him so far. Impressive stuff. Um, that goal, what would you say that was? A little lob wedge again over the keeper and into the back of the net.
Yeah, I think
Um,
you called it a 60-degree.
yes, I believe I did call it a 60-degree. If you're not following us on Instagram, definitely would recommend. I decided to vlog the game today, sitting in the beer garden. So you got my instant thoughts on everything going on. Um,
I
worth
guess that's
the.
what happens when nobody else goes the game with you on a midweek fixture is you need to talk. You need to talk to somebody.
I got to talk to somebody. Did make a couple friends, so shout out to them. Moved around a bit too, the entire stadium, which was a lot of fun. Um, fun time out at Paradise Coast. Back after a quick work call. Again, we're not professional podcasters, so we do get interrupted as we record here at 11 o'clock Eastern. Doing a little post match recap here. Paul, we were talking about man of the match.
Yeah, it's only 8 o'clock on the West Coast, so not as late. So yeah, definitely appreciate you standing by me as I had some work that needed attended to. But yeah, I think I finished my man of the match. Talked about you being at the game, vlogging it up, and but I don't think you got to your man of the match. And if you did, I didn't hear it, and I am very curious who your man of the match was.
No, this was a tough one for me. I really liked Hudson Gay. To get his first professional goal, first professional start, that was awesome. But Mark Torres just again proving how important he was in the middle. That first goal too was just insane. Kevin O'Connor, 2 assists today. He looked to be up for it. He was kind of running the show through the middle as well, finding guys all over the field, working backwards too, winning balls. Juan Azario I thought looked good. Ian Serra was another name that I thought looked good. So I think I'm either going to go Torres or Connor for my man of the match, um, because you already said Hudson Gay. So I think one of those guys is probably my man of the match nomination. Um, yeah, yeah. So now we'll take a look to looking forward now to Saturday, 6 p.m. kickoff back on ESPN Plus. Taking on Richmond Kickers, first away game of the season. I know the club's doing a watch party at Hopsize Brewery, so hopefully some of you can join us there. Richmond Kickers, we beat them twice. Both times we played them last year, 2-1 was the final score in both of those games. What are you looking forward to this one, and Paul?
Well, for one, the Bay Area FC Naples supporter group will be on the road this week in South Lake Tahoe. So if anybody's in the South Lake Tahoe area and wants to watch FC Naples, get in touch with the show. We can coordinate a time and place. Um, but yeah, looking forward to seeing what the squad can do as they venture away for the first time. Kind of cool that, the first three games are at home. Um, but success in this league doesn't happen at home. So you got to be good on the road. These guys aren't traveling in the most luxurious fashion. Going on the road to Richmond, it's going to be a tough trip. And especially after playing on Wednesday, my guess is they're going up. They're going to have an off day tomorrow. Maybe a late travel day. Either a little bit of a light workout tomorrow and then travel, or travel then a light workout in Virginia. So, for some of the new guys that haven't played in the league or haven't played at the professional level, just learning how to carry yourself as a pro on the road, it's going to be a big statement. And how we come out on Saturday, I think will hopefully be a testament of the leadership within the player ranks and the coaching staff, that they'll be fired up, ready. for Saturday. But it is going to be tough playing midweek and then going on the road. So um, lofty challenge ahead of us.
Yeah, definitely tough turnaround too, going from playing Wednesday to a Saturday afternoon match. For what it's worth, Richmond did play earlier. They played week 1 against AV Alta on the road out in California, had last weekend off, and then they played Tuesday at home against Northern Virginia FC in the Open Cup. Another semi-pro side there. They won 2-0 for what it's worth. So definitely some good competition. Richmond seems to be pretty good this year. Um, that 1-1 draw, they seem to have a really solid back line. They've got a young striker in Josh Kirkland who played for them last year. He seems to be ready to have a breakout year. He's already scored twice. He scored in the AV Alta match to make that one 1-1, and then he scored in the Northern Virginia match as well. So, hopefully they'll have some tired legs as well, having played Tuesday. But we get one last day of rest for this one. We've already played 3 games for what it's worth. They've only played 2 this season, so hopefully that all that can factor into this one. But yeah, Richmond seems to be good. I think they play very similar to us. Looks like they're going to play a 4-4-2. At least that's how they lined up against AV Alta. So expecting similar there. Really strong back line. I think they're going to be difficult to break down, and I think that's kind of what we like, though, is like that challenge and like to let teams come at us and then hit us on the break. Um, Looking back to that AV Alta game, though, they had almost none of the possession. AV Alta dominated with 77% of the possession, 18 shots, 6 on target. Richmond had 1 shot on target and 2 big chances, and 23% possession. So it's going to be curious to see if we're up for the challenge of getting the ball at our feet and hitting these guys on the attack versus trying to counterattack, which we seem to be able to do over the past 2 league games. So curious what you're thinking going into this one.
Yeah, and it's you mentioned those stats, and it usually switches home versus road. So you see a Richmond team that's not very ball dominant, and typically that's how road teams play. You're a little less ball heavy. We've been at home. We've been a little bit more ball heavy, especially in comparison to last year. Um, so, even those 2 numbers out, obviously a 1 game sample size for them, a 2 game sample size for us. So we're not going to take too much stock in that. But yeah, it'll be curious to see if Naples is going to try to be a little bit more ball heavy this year, possession heavy. Uh, and I'm curious to see if the Open Cup match is going to spark any change. We didn't see any match day 1 to 2. Um, if I'm remembering correct, maybe one spot swap. I don't recall much change. You gotta have Gay and Batchstein in the lineup, right?
Yeah, I'm curious if we go with that same exact 11 or if he does kind of mix some stuff up. I'm all for now seeing Gay and Backshine in the starting 11, or at least being those first 2 names off the bench, especially if we need that spark late on. Because I could easily see now, okay, Taylor Gray got his goal tonight. Maybe he's built some confidence. Maybe he's going to start finding some goals, because that's kind of been the only thing missing from his game thus far in the past 2 games, is he hasn't scored, right? So curious to see if he kind of sticks with the same lineup, who I don't think any of those guys have done anything to lose the shirt necessarily, but have these guys proven enough to earn that starting 11 spot this week? Or is it going to take a couple more weeks for them to finally break into that 11?
Yeah, I think we were talking pre-show. I think I want to see kind of a 3 up front with Bechstein as the number 9, and then as I thought about it more, I think Farine and Gray on the wings with Gay as the number 10. I just think he plays with such energy all around. But it also provides all 3 of those guys can play the wing, can play in the middle, and gives you the opportunity for some natural rest opportunity. Watching Forrest play, seems like Morgan Gibbs White does that frequently with Igor Jesus, where Gibbs White will push up top a little bit when they're on the defensive side, and Igor will play a little bit more midfield, running around a little bit more to give that guy a spell on the defensive end and saying, "Hey, I got your back. You take a few moments off, so when we counter, you're at full speed." So I think those three are all almost interchangeable, and seeing them playing together, I think would seems to be with a 3-game sample size could be a really fun offensive attack.
Yeah, especially if you throw Chris Garcia in there too, because he can play on. It seems like either wing. I think he favors the right. It seems, but I think he's another name too that just adds so much pace down those wings. And then if you leave O'Connor and Torres and Messias in the middle, or whoever you want to throw in the middle there, because even I feel like Cerro could even play in the middle, or you
Hmm.
leave him out wide because he looked good today and kind of he was all over the pitch as well. Um, you can just it's nice to know we've got such a strong midfield into this far into the season, and being able to, like you said, rotate those guys in and out, give some guys some rest, some new opportunities. I think that's going to be beneficial. As we know from last year, it's a long season ahead of us. So knowing we've got that strength in numbers there is going to be pivotal. Looking ahead to what I guess are you or let me back up. We before I forget, let's do score lines. What's your scoreline prediction for this one?
For everybody at home calling us homers, I'm gonna go with that score line I mentioned last night. I'm gonna go 1-1. Go to Virginia, take a point back home. I'll be happy first road game walking away tied.
I like that. I'm gonna stick with what it was last season. 2-1 FC Naples. I think we go in, we get it done, get the win. I think Backstein's gonna come off the bench. He's gonna score the winner late on, and we hold on to it and prove we learned the lesson from Corpus Christi last weekend. Um, it
Yeah, I think
should be.
the big thing with Backstein is I think Gay could be a guy that you can put in the game to be a little bit of a game changer kind of at halftime or that 60-minute mark. If Backstein's not going to be in the starting 11, I fear that he is going to be a very late sub. We're talking 70th minute kind of spin where he's been coming in, which could be great. So again, I think he's the storyline if you're an FC Naples fan that you got to follow and see how he progresses. Because I mean, keeping a guy that's 2 for 2, if you average that out to a 90-minute period, I mean, he's averaging 9 goals a game almost. So, um, 9 goals per 90. So, why he isn't in the starting 11 full time, we don't know. My guess is the only answer is a fitness level. So, that's going to be my continuing storyline for the year.
I think we need to get you like a shirt or a hat that just says "Start Backstein."
Hmm. Yeah, I
I
can
mean,
think
you
of
were
some
preaching
some
this
play
last
on.
season too, so I think you were an early adopter.
He's just you. There's guys that you can just see, and you're like,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to be good. I thought the same thing with Taylor Gray. I think he's looked phenomenal. I think Batchline's just his physical stature for this level is it's going to be really hard for guys to stop.
Yeah,
And he has now scored 2 goals that have taken great finesse. Last year is kind of he's a bruiser, and now he's scored 2 goals that have taken some finesse, developing a game. His game, and maybe Naples is going to be known as the team that produces and develops strikers that come here, they play a year, and they're off to a bigger league, like we saw with Henderlong.
yeah. I mean, we'd love to see it and keep those transfer fees flowing in. That would be huge for the team and continuing to develop talent too. Like you see Hudson Gay, he's homegrown. So it's cool to see kind of both ends of we get these new young guys in, let them prove themselves with us, and then move them on.
those
Um,
transfer fees are what keeps the beer tokens coming year after year. So a lot of pressure on these guys.
I'm sure that's it. Um, Looking ahead after Richmond for those keeping score at home, FC Naples will be back for 3 games, 3 league games in a row. I still have not found when the next round of the Open Cup will be. So if we can find that, as soon as we find that, we will let you all know. And we'll see who we draw in the next round. But the next 3 league games after Richmond on the 21st, again, Richmond on the 21st, that's a 6 p.m. kickoff. We're back at home for 3 in a row, March 28th against Forward Madison. Get to welcome them back. Back at home again, April 4th, 7 p.m. against Greenville. And then April 11th against Sarasota, the rivalry game that we still have to figure out a name for. Um, Round 1 in the same league with them. I think we'll play them 3 times this season, once in the Pricks Tires Cup and then again up at third place. So some games are going to be starting to come fast right at us. And it seems like some teams have off weeks. No off weeks for us yet. We got to get all these games in while the weather's still nice out. So lots of home games coming up. Lots of opportunities to come see the boys play.
Yeah, never underestimate these March Saturday nights. Awesome that for the scheduling purposes, we have more games at home in the spring and fall time. Those hot summer nights is tough. Um, Tough for the players, obviously, but tough to get a good crowd to want to go to a game on a Saturday night when it's 95 degrees and 95% humidity. So, um, yeah, make sure you're if you're in town and you got the time, go out and support the club because, as we've talked about, games are a lot of fun, and there's people around the country that would love to be at the in attendance at the game in the beer garden. So
Yes, come out, support the team, especially at their home games. Hope to see you all at Hopsized on Saturday night at 6. I'm hoping to make it. But yeah, looking forward to those games. Bring a friend to those games too. Start planning it now. Get it on your friends' calendars. Bring them because I think once people start to experience this, they're gonna want to come back. Um, Paul, anything else you want to add before we wrap up here?
it's a long year. We got to celebrate the wins no matter where the competition is. I think we did a great job of celebrating that win tonight, and now it's off to Richmond.
Yeah, we're on to Richmond. Looking forward to it. Long season ahead still. Hopefully a long Open Cup run added in there. Lots to look forward to here as the season gets underway, and hopefully, and it seems like we're picking up right where we left off. Yeah, looking forward to the rest of the season with you all. Thank you all so much for listening. Until next time, we will see you soon. Come on, Naples.